Look, I have to apologize. I lied in a previous video about a one watch collection. The truth is, I can't live with just one watch. Even if that watch is something epic like the Royal Oak that I reviewed, because eventually I'd probably want to take a break. But two watches though, I think I can do two because then you've got division of labor, separation of church and state. Now I chose the Rolex OP as a great single watch collection, but with two, I think we can get a little more creative. And in an effort to make this more applicable to everybody, let's set three different price tiers, 1,000, 5,000, and 10,000 plus. And let's build the best two watch collection at each of these price tiers. I went on a hike this past weekend and ended up doing like 13 miles, really got my steps in, but which watch did I intuitively grab in the morning as I was heading out the door? My trusty Timex Expedition North. Now, you can't go wrong with a field style watch for these occasions, and I happen to have picked up this little titanium beauty for like 250 bucks on Amazon a while back. That's a crackhead price for a titanium watch, especially considering Timex is not a no-name brand. This is one of the oldest American watch brands, tracing its founding back in 1854 from Waterbury, Connecticut. There's so much to love in a small package here. First, it's a mechanical watch with an automatic movement. We don't need to go deep into this movement, but it's got a rotor, it hacks, it self-winds, good enough. Visually, it's a really balanced style with an attractive grainy texture. The big luminous hands give great legibility. The 40.5mm case is bead blasted titanium with great big crown guards and just screams, "Take me outside." A screw down crown and 200 meters water resistance means that it can take anything you throw at it. The only two problems that I found here is that Timex website says this watch is 12.5mm thick. I've measured it squarely at 13.5. And they must have mixed things up here because the strap that it comes on, I think was intended for the outside of the box because it feels like the cardboard that it came in. So since day one, I've been wearing it on our very own mud brown top grain leather zero pass strap. And with that one issue resolved, the Timex makes up the more rugged half of the $1,000 two watch pair, leaving us plenty of dough to work with for something more dressy. To pair with the Expedition, I've chosen the Wellington Zephyr, a tonneau-shaped dress watch from the New York micro brand that evokes the Gilded Age. Coming in at $550, we easily stay under our budget. With no second hand, the Zephyr is unapologetically dressy. It reminds you to drop your modern-day toils, stop looking at how many seconds things take, and just enjoy that guilloche dial, maybe over an old-fashioned. The dial texture shimmers in the light, and the blued hands just pop, creating great visual contrast. I see some inspiration from the Cartier Tortue, but the case here is more angular with sharper angles, and the lugs, they terminate in triangular tips, giving the watch just more character, more sass. Dress watches should lean small, and I would say the Zephyr is kind of like a mid-sized dress watch at 31 wide, 8 thick, and 42 lug to lug. It wears well on my 6.5-inch wrist, but I think it could accommodate bigger. 18mm lug width and an extra strap in the box gives you plenty of combinations to work with. The watch runs a Miyota 9029 automatic, no-date movement. Now, you'd expect hand wound at this thickness, so that's pretty impressive. So with the Expedition taking weekend duty and the Zephyr facing down the weekday office grind, I think we've built an admirable two-watch collection well under $1,000 with plenty of money left over for straps. Next up, the $5,000 category is tougher than you think. But first, let me tell you about the sponsor of today's video. IFL Watches, the masters of dial customization, have come back with a more subtle design than their usual flamboyant creations. This Bova Super Seville features a honeybee buzzing around on the counterweight of the second hand. Now, your garden variety honeybee beats his wings at like 300 times a minute. And that was the inspiration here because the movement found in this watch is pretty crazy. Bova is renowned for their high frequency quartz movement. Whereas a normal quartz runs at 32 kilohertz and has a beating second hand, the NM10 goes at an ungodly 262 kilohertz, meaning it can generate a sweeping second hand and stay accurate to 10 seconds per year. Each dial here is customized like a honeycomb, and sections are painted with dripping golden honey. These painted sections vary amongst watches, so no two watches are identical. They're making like 500 of these in a limited run, so if this Bova makes your wings flutter, Check the link in the description to pick one up. Next up, the $5,000 category. For the sportier option, I'm gonna go with a watch that you guys have been screaming at me to review. This is the new Hanhart 417 ES chronograph in flyback form. It comes in just a hair under $3,000, which is perfect for our purposes. Hanhart is a German company founded in the 1800s with a long history of making timekeeping equipment. The 417 mostly resembles chronographs that were coming out of their factories in the 40s. First thing out the box is just how solid this watch feels. This is a German product. Like any military watch should, the dial prioritizes legibility with a matte black surface and bright white superluminova markings. Little details like a rotating coin edge bezel with a red marking just adds to the visual allure. And that red accent is matched by a red reset pump pusher. It's red to signify that this is a model with a flyback movement, meaning that while the chronograph is running, a push of the reset button will snap the hand back to zero, restart it instantaneously. This is designed for timing multiple consecutive events. It's a tougher movement to engineer than a normal start-stop chronograph. Hanhart uses the Sellita AMT 5100 caliber, which is based on the Sellita SW510. This is actually a column wheel chronograph with 58 hours of power reserve. The watch comes in both 39 and 42 millimeter sizes. I opted to go with the smaller one, which has anti-magnetism and an internal anti-shock system. Other dimensions are 13.5 thick, 46 lug to lug, and 20 between the lugs. Okay, so we got about $2,000 left over in our budget, and we need something that's more of a everyday watch. And I decided to have a little fun here. I'm gonna go with the Formx Essence in space gold. Okay, get a load of this. The style is 18K gold plated over meteorite. What? So we get this warm gold shine over like a stone texture. Formx is a Swiss brand started in the late 90s and renowned for their manufacturing prowess and highly finished sports-leaning timepieces. The Essence is like their Gata model and features a cool trick up its sleeve. The mid-case is built on a spring-loaded suspension system set to provide shock absorption. It might seem a little gimmicky, but it's interesting. Well executed, doesn't add any extra bulk to the case, and I think it's like a little bit of a flex to show the industry what they're capable of with their tooling. The case is well proportioned at 39, and despite that suspension system, only 10 millimeters thick. It has a lug-to-lug of 45 and a 20 millimeter lug width. The watch ships on a 3-link bracelet that just has a lot more character than your typical micro-brand Oyster. It's got a quick extension link built into the buckle. You can also swap it for their nylon strap with a deployant, and that gives the watch more of a sporty look. Seen through the case back is a COSC certified Sellita SW200. No screw down crown here, but you still get 100 meters of water resistance. The Formx comes in at $1,990. So with this combo, we just sneak under 5,000 by like 30 bucks. And I think we've managed to cover a lot of bases. But I wonder what we can come up with for $10,000. For the more sporty of the two, I am picking the Omega Aquaterara, and for me, the 38 millimeter. This sexy three-hander is Omega's take on the do-it-all watch, reflected in its name of water and earth. They threw everything at the wall here. We get a horizontally striped blue dial with a great sunburst finish. We've got cleanly cut triangular hour markers pointing at arrow tips on the minute and the seconds hands. We get a very attractive case featuring contrasting polished and brushed surfaces. This watch measures at just 12.5 millimeters thick, which means that it's easy to wear, especially on this basket weave rubber strap that Omega offers on a deployant. And also, this band just gives the watch so much more sporty, aquatic persona. Driving the AT is the caliber 8800, a META-certified movement featuring their proprietary coaxial escapement technology and 55 hours of power. Now, one gripe I've always had about this is that the 8900, found in the 41 millimeter big brother of this watch, has a jump hour function. Come on, Omega, why do you discriminate against us slight-wristed folks? But retailing at 6 to 7K, but found for much less on the used market, the AT with 150 meters water resistance and a screw-down crown is a dream of a daily driver with a water-going soul. To pair with the Omega, I feel like we have to go dressy, and with this budget, you know we have to go with the Cartier. Whether it's a tank or a Santos, you can't go wrong here. My Cartier of choice, of course, is the Santos 100. at least currently this year. I've tried them all, but the 100 is my current favorite because it's different. I love this beefy case, the exaggerated Roman numerals, and loomed hands, but it still follows that classic Cartier recipe with a square polished bezel and embedded screw head. They started making the 100, I think, 2004, so it still had an ETA movement back then, specifically the 2892, which is a higher end cousin to the 2824, meaning it could easily be serviced when it comes time. Now, one drawback is that the 100, except for I think the XL model, never shipped on a bracelet. But the compromise is pretty tolerable. The croc tucks neatly between the lugs, ends with a great butterfly clasp. And I think if I just had this 2-watch collection, it could keep me going for years. The AT will handle most everyday occasions, and you break out the Cartier when you're feeling like a fancy pants. So hopefully we've proven that you can build a killer 2-watch collection at any price point. Now, if you guys have any alternate suggestions, come chat with us on the Anachronist Discord. The invite is in the description. All right, guys, see you in the next one.